Lil Durk might face more charges in his murder for hire case. On May 21st, Durk's co-defendant DeAndre Wilson filed new motion requesting a bond. And filing, DeAndre Wilson is OTFDD. And filing, his attorney revealed that the prosecution has announced intentions to expand the case ahead of trial to include additional charges. The government has now signaled that its intention to bring both 2022 Chicago incident and previously unproposed Atlanta 2019 incident to the case as direct evidence. The filing reads, the 2022 incident appears to reference Durk's Chicago murder of Stefan Mack, which Durk was allegedly tied to by authorities but never charged with. In 2019, the incident in Atlanta, Durk was charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and with connection with a near shooting downtown. The case was dismissed in 2022. Now, the 2019 incident is the incident that he got into with King Von and OTF Bezu. That was the incident that was eventually dismissed, and basically they just threw it on Von. This was the incident that people were trying to accuse Lil Durk of snitching for, because a lot of people found it was funny how, okay, Von dies, and now all of a sudden this case that was up in the air is just now being pinned on Von. But that was the case that basically Von took the hit for. Essentially, Von took the hit for that case, even though he's not here to do the time. The feds just decided, the police just decided to throw that on Von. The 2022 incident, now, hold on. The 2022 incident appears to reference Chicago murder of Stefan Mack, which Durk was allegedly tied to by authorities but never charged with. Okay, boom. Now, what happened with the 2022 incident with Stefan Mack was supposedly the get back for D-Thing, or Lil Durk's big brother. Now, what happened was the feds eventually, they got a guy for it. And the guy, when he got arrested and they put him in the county, he was in jail, and he was telling his cellie everything that happened, detail by detail. And his cellie was a snitch. Like, the dude is in the cell telling his cellie everything that, like, his cellie is like, they, detail by detail, like, he's telling the cellie everything that happened, like, timeline for timeline. And the cellie, I guess, told. And people would do that in jail. Like, when you're in jail and you in jail with guys, like, sometimes it's dudes in jail who are still telling because they're trying to lower their sentence or they're trying to get out. So, like a dickhead, this motherfucker, he gets caught and goes to jail and gives the whole breakdown of the situation to a cellmate, even includes Durk in the breakdown, saying that he was supposed to get the money from Durk. And basically, and everything was weird. And there was even like a situation where Durk did an interview with Gilly and Wallow on $1 million worth of game. And let me see if I can pull that up. Lil Durk, $1 million worth of game. Okay, boom. So this interview right here with $1 million worth of game. The dude who got arrested for the murder of Stefan Mack is in this room. He was on IG Live, not IG Live. He was on Instagram posting stories from when he was here. It's documented. The dude who got arrested for murder is here. And all this money sitting on the table right here, this was the reward money. So Durk did this. This interview was in Chicago, in the basement, in the trenches. They had Wallow and Gilly come travel to Chicago. And the dude who got arrested for the murder of Stefan Mack, who went to the county and told his cellie everything that happened, detail by detail. He was in this room because he posted an Instagram story. He was in this room, and all this money right here was supposed to be the reward money. And Durk had a lyric about it in some song. I can't remember the song. If the song comes to me, I'll tell everybody right now. Like, I just can't remember the lyric. Oh, fuck. I can't remember the lyric. I can't remember the song. But this was supposedly, allegedly, the reward money. All this money right here. This was supposed to be off. Shit, y'all can't even see it. Hold up. I can't even see that shit. all the money right here, right up right below me. This was supposed to be the reward money for the Stefan Mack murder. Once again, to reiterate, the Stefan Mack murder was the murder of OTM D Thing, which is Lil Durk's brother, and the supposedly shooter was in the room and he took IG stories. So that's what the feds was using as proof, trying to connect Durk to this guy, trying to connect Durk to this guy, and trying to connect Durk to the murder. And they're trying to use a rap lyric that Durk had. They're trying to use some kind of rap lyric that Durk had to also connect it. But the thing is, although the dude, when he went and told his celly, he connected Durk to the crime, and they got the lyric that he was at the interview with Durk, the feds have actually never charged Durk with the crime. And which is weird, because, you'll think they'd be trying to throw everything they have at him. With this murder for hire with Little Pab, you'll think they'd try to do everything and throw the whole kitchen sink at him. But everybody's been trying to figure out why haven't they pinned this murder to Durk. Like, they already have a guy who said Durk. And I think what the theory is, what everybody's feeling is, they're trying to see if Durk can wiggle his way out of this murder for hire, because the murder for hire case isn't strong. The murder for hire case for Lil Pap, it isn't strong. And if Durk wiggles his way out of this, it was like, okay, boom. We got the murder for Stefan Mack. We have somebody who said that you paid him to do that. And we have proof that he was around you. And we have proof that the number for the reward that was being discussed, you had in an interview, and he was there at this interview to collect. So they were gonna. I feel like the consensus is they're going to try to throw this. They were going to try to throw this at Durk. So, but now this incident is being brought into the case earlier, because the feds now want to use that as some kind of evidence. They're still not charging Durk with it, but they're saying that, hey, this is the incident that he's tied with. They're trying to use it as evidence to say, okay, this gives his current murder for hire case more legitimacy. Oh shit, that's the reward bread in the interview. Yeah, in the interview, that's supposed to be the reward money. That was like $1 million. That was like $1 million, and it was supposed to be the reward money for killing Stefan Mack. Yeah, the whole situation is crazy as fuck, and I can't remember the Durk lyric where he's talking about it, but it's a Durk lyric on a Durk song. I think it's on the Almost Healed album. It's a song on the Almost Healed album, but I just can't really connect the dots right now. But yeah, in the interview, Gillian Wallow, they flew to Chicago. The interview was being held in the trenches of Chicago. And that's supposed to be the reward money. And the guy who's receiving the reward money was actually in the room. Crazy shit. It's crazy. But the feds, like I said, they never tried to put the murder on Durk, but now they want to use it as evidence. In February 2026, the government withdrew its posted Rule 404 evidence concerning the 2022 Chicago incident at the Lyman hearing, whatever. On May 13th, 2026, the government informed Defense Counsel that it is considering seeking supplemental charges that would charge Chicago 2022 incident and incident from 2019 in Atlanta as direct evidence in this case. Which is crazy, because like I said, the 2019 incident, they already put that on Vaughn. The case was already dismissed, but now they're trying to use a case that they're not even charging Durk with. Like, mind you, in this case, Durk isn't being charged. Like, this is a case, like, this 2022 incident, yeah, the dude was in his cell, spoke to his cellie, and connected Durk to the case, and was also at the $1 million worth of game interview with Durk. And there's also Durk lyrics that point to that money going towards the hit for D-Thing. But they never charged Durk with this. So they're trying to use it as evidence and saying that, well, Durk is connected to it. And then they're trying to use that in a dismissed case as evidence to give validity to this murder for hire on Little Pat, because, to be quite frankly, this 2022 incident has a stronger case than the Little Pab. Cause like with the Little Pab case, there's room for, and people are saying, well, Jam is snitching, Vonnie is snitching. So there's room for people to come out and snitch. And they're like, Dirk can be hurt. Like, people can come and tell on Dirk. But right now, but based on the evidence that they already have, the case isn't strong. It'll really take for somebody to come out and go, okay, Dirk paid us to do this. This is my role, etc., etc. Somebody would literally have to come out and snitch for Dirk to go down for the Little Pab case. If that doesn't happen, Dirk gets off scot-free. That's just how weak the case is. And the 2022 incident is a stronger case because this nigga was already in his cell and told his cellie that Dirk had something to do with it. Now, it's a stronger case, but I feel as though they haven't try to charge Dirk with it because it's a stronger case, but it's not a rock solid case. Like, pillow talking to your cellmate isn't strong evidence. Like, it's just the only event that they can have somebody say, okay, well, Dirk is connected to it. But pillow talking to your cellmate isn't a strong evidence. But it is stronger evidence than everything they have so far with the Little Pab case. On February 26, 2026, the court denied Mr. Wilson's motion to sever. Mr. Wilson is OTF DD. In doing so, the court observed that the severance motion was considerably strong before the government withdrew the Chicago incident. The government has now signed its intention to bring both the Chicago incident and previous unproposed 2019 incident into this case as direct evidence. Now, OTF DD, he's trying to sever his case. He's going, well, it's a murder for hire. Y'all got Durk. Y'all got me. Y'all saying our cases aren't like he's trying to separate the case. He's just trying to separate the case, which doesn't hurt Durk. And let me see. Like Trap Lord Ross had the video on. I wish I could pull it up. I probably could. Lord knows if he'll copyright me though, so I kind of don't even want to touch that. Nor do I even remember which video it was. But yeah, let me see. What's this? Let me see what he has on.
Or charges to him. So let's updates on Lil Durk, and the prosecutors are reportedly wanting to add more charges to him. So let's go over this. Lil Durk and his OTF label are trying to keep things moving in all the chaos of his murder for hire case, which also involves other co-defendants and alleged co-conspirators in the 2022 Los Angeles murder of Lil Pab. However, things might get even more complex for them. According to an exclusive All Hip Hop report, they might have more charges against them in the federal LA case. This reportedly comes from a May 21 court filing from the team of DeAndre Wilson, one of Smirk's co-defendants. Furthermore, the filing requested a federal judge to grant bond and claimed prosecutors told defense lawyers on May 13th that they were deliberating about adding more charges in this case by June 3rd. More specifically, they would reportedly be over two older alleged incidents connected to Durk and OTF. The first is reportedly a January 2022 shooting in Chicago that led to the death of Stefan Mack. Reportedly, unsealed documents claim Durk was responsible, but he received no charges. The second is reportedly an Atlanta shooting in January of 2019. The Voice reportedly faced felony charges, including attempted murder and aggravated assault, but the Fulton County District Attorney's Office dropped them in 2022. Although probable cause reportedly existed for his arrest, prosecutors chose to walk away, and his attorney claimed prosecutors mistakenly believed his association with folks involved in the shooting was enough to connect him. So yeah, they're going deep, man. They really want to get this guy long away. And we're talking about cases from January 2022 and a case from January of 2019. That's when King Von was alive. I think that was the case where like him and King Von were actually locked up together.
Yup, that's what it was. When him and
that happened.
And Basil.
Meanwhile, co-defendant DeAndre Wilson's lawyers claimed those potential new charges could result in a logistical nightmare in Lil Durk's trial, which is currently set for late August of this year. The new charges would require more discovery, arraignments, motions, hearings. The list goes on. Wilson's lawyers argue those potential new charges have nothing to do with their client, and thus he should be out on bond while his actual case develops. Yeah, interesting, man. We'll see if this even happens in the end of August, because a lot of these things, man, like I said, they say it's going to happen this time. Then
yeah, and that's Didi's lawyer. Like, Didi's lawyer is basically saying, well, the Stefan Mack thing, Didi has nothing to do with. The 2019 case is already dismissed. And like I said, everybody who was involved in that was Durk, Von, and Basil. Diddy's lawyer saying, "Well, my client has nothing to do with any of this. There is no real evidence against him tying him to this whole murder for hire debacle. So he has the right to separate his case from Durk's, and then he has the right to get bond so he can fight his charges. Which is not that's not an indicator that Diddy's trying to snitch or anything. He just wants to separate his case from Durk's, which is fine. Like I said, it doesn't really hurt Durk, and it makes sense. And I would want to do the same thing as well, because they're trying to throw the fucking kitchen sink at Durk, and so anything to separate me from that bullshit, I'd want to do it as well.
Goes and all of a sudden new charges and all of a sudden new things are happening and it gets pushed back to God knows when, 2028. So yeah, man, the prosecutors are going for everything, man. They don't care. They want to try to get this guy locked up for life, and it's looking like he's going to have some snitches in the situation too. So yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward, but it's not looking good for Lil Durk.
I mean, and nobody has actually came out and actually began to snitch. Like, it's all speculation. Like, of course, the speculations with OTF Jam and the speculations with OTF Vonnie. But there's no guarantee that anybody's snitching. Hell, if they was, like I said, the best evidence is a sworn statement from a motherfucker who was there. So if there was anything like that, man, the feds that have a hard on to get this trial going and put Durk away. They're trying to add dismissed cases and cases that Durk wasn't charged with as evidence to prove that there's validity and meat on the bones to this case. They wouldn't need to do all that if there was somebody or multiple people coming forward and say, you know what, nah, this is Durk. Durk paid me to do this, that, and the third. All this really happened. And Diddy's trying to sever his case. If he was coming forth saying, okay, boom, this is Durk, they wouldn't even give him a hard time. They let him, he wouldn't even need to sever his case. It's just, okay, tell them you can get out, or telling them we'll cut you a deal. But yeah, man, the whole Durk situation, like I said,